Eagles and Bucks, 8 p.m. Monday night. Who will come out victorious? We'll preview this matchup and also talk about all the madness ahead. What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome into A to Z Philly. You know the drill by now. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Don't miss any of the coverage. Will be live halftime and post-game of this wild card weekend matchup as the Eagles travel to Tampa. We'll talk about all of it and react as we've done all year. Appreciate everybody that has come along for the ride. But I'll tell you, man, I've never felt like this going into any playoff game for any Philly team in my career, in my life. I just, for any team, I've never felt this way. You have the people out there saying that the Eagles can get lucky and they can grab one out and scratch a win based on how bad the Bucks are. Then you have the people who are saying to me, well, why do we have to even wait one more day? Because we know the inevitable is coming. We know the Eagles are going to lose. Then you have the people saying, how badly do the Eagles have to lose to get Nick Sirianni fired? It's been a wild sequence of events. The Eagles going from 10-1 and not even finishing the season with more than 11 wins. They have lost 5 out of their last 6 games. Now, the Bucks have won 5 out of their last 6 games. However, let's be honest, both these teams right now are playing like hot garbage. This is probably the worst matchup of the weekend, but it's going to get ugly. Give me your thoughts. So give me your score prediction down below in the comments. I'm interested to hear. And before we jump into all of it, a shout out to our sponsor of today's show, BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up with the code ATOZPA and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. I'll tell you, man, I'm staying away from this game. I can't even pick who's going to win. Who's going to win? I mean, both these teams stink. They stink. All right, let's talk about this game, man. I wish I wasn't up here talking like this. I want to be so fired up and excited for this game. And the Eagles and Bucks come into this game, you know, the Bucks couldn't even muster out 10 points against the 2-win Panthers. They were in a must-win scenario last week, and they had to win because their division is so tight. And let's also make that as a known fact as well. The Buccaneers are only in the playoffs because their division is absolutely horrendous. The Eagles are only in the playoffs because they racked up 10 wins in their first 11 games, and they have been embarrassing as of late as well. So who's going to come out on top? Well, going through the numbers here, obviously the Eagles are the much more talented team. And it's funny because these teams actually played each other back in week 3. If you remember, it feels like an eternity ago. The Eagles beat them 25-11 in Tampa. It was a Monday night game. One of those ugly starts to games, but the Eagles actually did put up some points in the first half, unlike what they do now. And they were up 13-3 at halftime. And Baker Mayfield looked like an absolute deer in headlights. The Eagles defense, this is probably one of their best games, if I remember correctly. And it wasn't like it was a fully clean game, but it was one of their more polished games. They didn't make the bad mistakes. Yes, Jalen Hurts had a couple interceptions. I think one of them was kind of bounced up in the air. Really wasn't his fault. And what the Eagles did was they stuck to their identity. And to me, they need to get back to this identity if they want to win this football game, especially on the road. The way to go in and calm down a hostile environment is to go in, run the ball effectively, move the sticks. DeAndre Swift had 130 yards in this game. Gainwell had 43. DeAndre Swift was on an absolute massive tear to begin the year. And when you look at the Eagles, yeah, they have 2 1,000-yard receivers. So do the Bucks. But in my opinion, the only guy I'm fearing on the Tampa Bay Bucks is Mike Evans. And that is no easy target, okay? Mike Evans is one of the best receivers in the league. He always goes under the radar for some reason. He's an absolute menace. And I would double him the whole game if you can even afford to. Mike Evans is that good. Chris Godwin hit 1,000 yards this year. I'm not really too worried about him, maybe more as a deep threat. But the Eagles have a 1,000-yard rusher. And when people look at DeAndre Swift years from now, they're going to look back and say, wow, he had a career year going home to Philadelphia. The fact of the matter is they should be saying he could have had 15, 16, 1,700 yards. That's how damn good he was to begin the year. And it's not like, he cooled off by any means. I just feel like the play calling was never optimal to keep getting him in that rhythm. All they did was run it right up the middle, and they never got creative on offense, which has been the story all year. And we could sit here and try to analyze this game. Fact of the matter is, Eagles have to get more creative on offense, but Nick Sirianni already stated this week he's not changing play callers. He is sticking with the same thing. So it's going to be up to Brian Johnson internally to realize I need to go back and watch some damn film. I mean, why not even go watch this game? Go watch this game 5 times and try to pull out some of the plays you had in this game and replicate them in this playoff game. You cannot make mistakes. That's a huge one in this game. Whether it's Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, maybe a running back, you cannot turn the ball over in crucial situations. That is how playoff games are lost. You need to control the time of possession, and you can't turn it over on a short field. You can't give the other team an opportunity because, in my opinion, the way I'm feeling about this game right now is that it's going to be one of those muddy, clawed-out games in the fourth quarter. It's going to be like 17-16, and if you give a team an opportunity to take it, say, 35 yards in after an interception or a fumble, that might be the turning point of this game. When you look at the numbers, like I said, the Eagles just have such a more talented roster than this Bucs team, but I can't say that anymore because I've said that the last several weeks against the Cardinals and the Giants and the Seahawks. But the fact of the matter is, all of the parts, all of the working components need to come together for a solid game plan. And really the only thing the Bucs have right now is their pass rush. I mean, none of the guys on their team had more than 7.5 sacks. They're more of like a committee style pass rush. But at the end of the day, man, they were, top 5 in the league in blitzing. They were top 10 in sacks, and they are going to bring a lot of pressure. They have seen what teams like the Giants did to Jalen Hurts last week when the Eagles offense couldn't even put up points in the first half. And they're going to try to replicate that. They're going to be smart right to the point, say, oh, look at what works. The Eagles, don't know how to run plays to get their guys going. They don't run pre-snap motion. They don't do anything. So we're going to send the house at Jalen Hurts. And if he scrambles out of the pocket and continues to find nobody and throw it away and maybe tries to force it into a tight window, that's how we win this game. Todd Bowles is not stupid. And the Bucs just have to do a little bit extra to win this game. They can't play as bad as they did against the Panthers last week, but they have found ways to win games. And they're going to be at home in front of their crowd. Maybe that's a little better for the Eagles to get away from the rowdy home Eagle fans at the Link, right? They'd probably be booing at the end of the first quarter if the Eagles start off how they have played. But at the end of the day, man, I think it's going to come down to a couple key possessions. I think in the fourth quarter, if you can go on a game-winning drive, maybe set up Jake Elliott for a long field goal, that's how you can win this game. I'm sorry, I just don't have a lot of confidence that they can do it. You have people out there saying that the Eagles have just been kind of in cruise control and gliding into the playoffs, not really worrying about stuff, and they're going to kick it into gear. But when I listen to this team speak, I still don't get the sense that the light has switched on. I still don't get the sense, that this team is really going to kick it back into gear, and I hope they prove me wrong. I really do. I think you have to protect Jalen Hurts. You have to put the ball in your playmakers' hands, whether it's AJ, Devontae, Swift, and that's another thing to mention in this game. Obviously, it's only Thursday at the time of recording this, but we still have not received an injury report yet. So Jalen Hurts is dealing with the dislocation on the finger. Devontae Smith is dealing with an injury. He didn't play his first game ever last week. A.J. Brown dealing with the knee injury. Slay said he's going to be back, but what will his effectiveness be? You're going to have somebody step up in this game, and whether it's at linebacker or corner or safety, right? Reed Blankenship had a pick in the first matchup, right? Nice interception. Somebody's going to have to make a big play. And maybe that's even the guys up front. I feel like I haven't seen some of these dudes in 10 weeks. Honestly, Jalen Carter, where's he been? Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat. If these guys can get to Baker Mayfield, he's a completely different quarterback under pressure. You could say that about a lot of quarterbacks, but Baker has shown he's really high and then he's really low. And he's had an overall decent year, hasn't turned the ball over too much, but if you get in his face, he's going to start to make some of these rampant throws into tight coverage, and, he's going to make a mistake. We saw that in the first matchup. So I don't know what Patricia's game plan is. I don't know what it has been. Some people are even saying they should go back to Sean Desai for this game. Could you imagine? Look, man, Desai shut him down for the most part in the first matchup. Now they have Matt Patricia. So it's a little bit of different game planning, but they need to kind of replicate what they did in the first matchup. And I feel, the Eagles are the only people that can change your destiny. I really do mean that. And coming into the season and coming into the playoffs and just the last, 5-6 weeks, the absolute downgrade, the downscale, really, there's just historic collapse that has woken everybody up. And if it doesn't wake you up this week and you finally realize, like, yo, we need to do something else, then it's just never going to work. And I will say this, if the Eagles get absolutely wiped by the Bucs, if they were to get blown away, I think everything is on the table. But we'll leave it there. I hope the Eagles get a W. I'm not going to give a final score prediction. I think it's going to be around 17-16, but depending on who plays and who doesn't, that could change. But I really do not have a lot of confidence in the Eagles winning a road playoff game right now. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But give me your thoughts down below. Can the Eagles finally turn the tide? Can they get it done? Can they go and reverse the fortunes of a couple years ago when the Bucs blew them away in the playoffs? Can they get it done? Give me all your thoughts down below and your main takeaways for what needs to happen in this game. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.